I want to tell you guys a story today about one of the wildest experiences of my life. It happened about a year or so back with my friend Ian when we were down in Orlando, Florida. This is the story of how we almost didn't film for Griffin, one of the biggest EDM artists alive right now.
She's got friction, she's bringing the heat. I gotta tell you, I've never seen anything like this before.
So we had this idea to take a trip down there and spend as little money as possible. Essentially, we were trying to barter video for as many amenities as we could. And as you'll see, it turned out pretty good.
We're gonna set it on fire, come on.
Once we landed in Orlando, we headed straight to the hotel/resort that was allowing us to stay there for a few days in exchange for making a video for them. And it was a pretty nice place to stay. 3.5 hours of sleep later, I'm up. I'm very tired, but ready to get the day started. It's a big day. The next morning we shot some intro scenes for the video for the hotel, and then we thought, since we don't know anything about Orlando, why don't we get up in the sky and see it from a better perspective? So we headed to the helicopter pad and took off, and of course, this was free as well in exchange for video. Doors off. Now what?
I don't think it can be topped.
Yeah, can't top that. Being my first time up in the sky in a helicopter, that was one of the most exhilarating, amazing experiences of my life. But next we had to do something even cooler. There it is. If we're gonna be whipping around Orlando, we might as well do it in style, right? This is sick. This thing's a beauty. This is crazy. Later that day, while we were sitting in the restaurant eating lunch, I got an email on my phone from one of the managers of Griffin, one of the biggest EDM artists around, and he was asking if we could come film Griffin's show that night in Orlando at the Plaza Live. We had spent months leading up to this trip trying to get in contact with Griffin or one of his managers, and getting this email just released the floodgates of emotion. We were so freaking excited. But we still had an entire day left full of shooting for the hotel before we could even think about that. So we had to put that on the back burner, continue our hotel shoot. So we just finished up shooting a video at the hotel by the pool. This was the outfit: Hawaiian shirt, fedora, sunglasses, bathing suit. I feel like we fit the vibe pretty well. What are your thoughts?
It was all right.
And that's when it hit Ian how exhausted we were after a couple hours of sleep the night before. We were dead tired, and we had so much more shooting left to do that day, not to mention the concert later on.
This day is just packed in more than we thought it would, so it's been busy to say the least, but it's good. And the night just started.
We're a little over halfway through our day today. Once our day of shooting was finished, we got some dinner, hopped in the Corvette, and headed off to the concert. But that's where it got interesting. See, we had only gotten a couple hours of sleep the night before. We got up at 7 a.m., had started shooting, shot all day long, had a long day out in the Florida heat. We were dead tired. And as we were driving down the highway, it hit us like a ton of bricks. I remember sitting there in the Corvette, driving on the highway at night. It was beautiful, the weather was warm out, we had the top off the Corvette. I was practically falling asleep driving the Corvette on the highway. Ian was no better in the passenger seat. And I remember looking over at him and said, I don't know if I can do this, man. I might need to go back to the hotel and go to sleep. And Ian was at that exact same point as well, ready to give up. And he just looked over at me and said, dude, I'm down with whatever you decide to do. And it got to the point where we literally got off onto the exit lane. I was about to exit off the highway, turn around, go back to the hotel, go to sleep, end it right there. But something in me said no. Something in me was like, this is gonna be worth it. You've got to go. In conclusion, don't let sleep get the best of you. Sometimes there are things more important than sleep. Sometimes it's worth it, even if you think it's not. Sometimes making the sacrificing just a little bit more sleep can go a long way and give you one of the most amazing, memorable experiences of your life. This was one of those moments for me. Absolutely had a blast.
There was a point last night where we weren't even sure if we were gonna go. We were in the exit lane.
Stay in the left 2
and I don't know. So obviously we went, and I have to say that of all the concerts I've ever been to, this was the #1 concert, the #1 show that I've ever seen. Would we get like 3.5 hours of sleep the night before?
Yeah.
And it was worth it.
Ian and I will be talking about this concert for a long time to come. We continue to talk about it because it was just such an amazing experience. Griffin puts on an amazing show, and moral of the story, sometimes it's better to be a yes man. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.